I'm starting to really hate people on Instagram because like you put up a post sometimes, and when you put up that post, of posting with your significant other, everybody's like they want to be part of the in crowd. You get what I'm saying? Like they want to be,
Right.
they
They
want
want to start commenting and shit.
right more, even more so. The comments I don't really, I'm cool with, but it's really the if they know your significant other, they really want to like tag your significant other and like start acting like that. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I didn't tag her, why are you tagging her? Like, what's happening? You get what I'm saying? Like, so people be a little bit funny to me. I be like, everybody be so much in a rush to be a part of something or to be a part of the in crowd. They like, oh, I know who it is. That he posted a photo with, so let me go ahead and tag them, even though he didn't tag them. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about? Like, Jesus. I hear you, love. Go for it.
That's that haterism.
People crazy.
That's that haterism. That's why I don't deal with people like that on Instagram.
I don't know. I just be looking at it like, what's wrong with y'all? Why y'all tagging somebody that I didn't tag? But all right, let's get into the shit. The world may never know. That's one of the eighth, maybe the eighth wonder of the world. Let's talk about it. Live on Broadway podcast. Let's get into it. Mike, 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 Mike. Welcome back to another episode of Live on Broadway podcast. Greetings and salutations to you all. Welcome back to another episode of Live on Broadway podcast, where the situations matter more than the relationships. Perspectives will be respected by everybody. Know what I'm talking about? And if this is your first time tapping in, don't be easily threatened or angered, because much like you, every giant here first started off as a perfect stranger. We ask that everybody tap in and get in tune with what we doing on YouTube, Broadway the Giant. Make sure you tap in and follow, like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you tap in what we doing on every podcast platform: Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Live on Broadway podcast. Tap in with us for the audio listeners out there. For everybody that's gonna give linear commentary tonight via Instagram, follow me. I am _Broadway on Instagram, and it's one more. I'm forgetting one more. Instagram. Clubhouse. Shout out to the Clubhouse listenership. Shout out to you guys. Tap in with us. Tap in. I am _Broadway on Clubhouse as well. Tonight we're gonna have some dope conversations. Episode 539, I believe. And today is gonna be interesting because, well, for a few reasons. One more importantly, it's a fan favorite, right? We're giving commentary based off of something that Michelle Obama said. But if this is your first time tapping in with Live on Broadway podcast, we're a relationship-based podcast. We speak all things relationships. You get me? My name is Broadway the Giant, an accountability coach, where I like to make people like yourself do the hard work and stand in front of you. You get what I'm saying? Sometimes that's the most hardest thing to do, because we'll beg and give partners to other people, but we aren't so easy to give it to ourselves or make ourselves stand in front of the hard work. You get me? So without further ado, we're gonna play some clips. We're gonna listen to some things. You understand me? What up though, Terica? We're gonna listen to some things, and we're gonna pop our stuff, man. I'm very interested to see how the commentary goes tonight, because I have some things I want to talk about, and I'm very interested to see if you guys are gonna be on, see what I'm saying and pick up what I'm putting down, or are you guys gonna take the opposite approach? Whatever the case is, we gonna get to the shits and the smoke. You get me? Live on Broadway podcast. Let's roll the tape. Oh, that ain't the tape. Where the tape go, Broadway? Give me 1 second, guys. Hold on, let me find the tape. Where's the tape? Okay, here we go. All right, check it out.
if I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30% because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look.
Yeah.
I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required. And I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario.
Wow. Round of applause. We got some things to talk about, right? And I wanted to jump that off and play that clip so you guys can hear it and understand where we're going to with these things, right? Michelle Obama, and but so many words. You're single. This is the topic we're speaking about tonight. You're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right. You're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right. Wow. I'm going to say it a third time because I believe that it's important. Sometimes we receive things when they said 3 times. You're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right. We having a conversation tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and we ain't pulling no punches. We throwing them all. We leaving it on the board. You see, here's the thing, right? I remember when I was younger, in my younger years, I've dated women and they've gave up on me and stepped away from the relationship, not so much because of what I wasn't, but not so much because of anything like infidelity, but more so because they didn't think I had the capacity to keep up the things that I was keeping up with. They felt as though it was only a matter of time before I crashed and I burnt. And we all know when you're young and you're in impoverished neighborhoods and impoverished communities, you do things, right? And you see things from a bit of an obtuse angle. And sometimes what I really like about this clip that Michelle Obama tapped in and said was sometimes we young people give up on love. Sometimes young people give up on love long before they actually should. You get what I'm saying? So I believe that. What's happening with you, Bambi?
Hi, how are you?
What's happening? We having a
How was
conversation.
your trip? Oh, how was your trip to Greece?
Oh man, it was beautiful. It was beautiful. Tonight though, I'll answer all those questions for you. You get me because I love speaking about it. Because it was
Yeah, I'd love to hear about it. I really would. When you have time.
Absolutely, Queen. Tonight we're having a conversation about something that Michelle Obama loosely said, and what she said was, what I interpret it as, at least, you're single, if you're single, right? This is to the single folk, you're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't work. You're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't work. I think that's powerful. I think that's powerful for a multitude of reasons because, peace, King. I think that's powerful for a multitude of reasons because, a lot of times in life, people give up on the most important part of their significant other, which is offering grace and that's time. They find all these different reasons and rhyming reasons to not be in the actual relationship because what this person isn't offering or because what that person isn't offering. I know some women that's left relationships based off of what someone else thinks. What somebody else, what their friends or what their family is talking about, right? And that in my opinion is never a good reason to leave a relationship. But a lot of times we identify ourselves as being leaders, but in the reality of it all is we're embarrassed by whatever reality has been presented to our friends and our family, right? But I've heard men say, "Oh, girl, he's not. He's not doing anything for you, girl." Or a real man would do this. A real man should be doing that. A man doesn't love you if he doesn't ... But I'm gonna play the clip one more time because I want you guys to listen to it and hear it entirely, and we'll come back for some commentary. Tap in with us live on Broadway podcast. Check it out.
If I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30% because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. Yeah. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required. And I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario.
Tap in with me, King Instagram. I'm coming to you first. What it do? How you feel? How you guys feel about that?
Well, that's a good example. I was talking about this on Sunday. I don't know anything about Giselle and Tom Brady, but I was talking about this with another woman, and she was saying, I can hear maybe Giselle probably gave up her career to support Tom Brady and their family. And I don't know if they're really going to get a divorce or not, but she's saying that she's tired of it, right? Giselle was a huge model like Michelle Obama. She had a huge career.
Yeah.
She was Michelle Obama, I think, went to Harvard, or she went to Ivy League school. She was super educated. She was a businesswoman, but she couldn't. She had to be his wife. And so I think Giselle feels that way with Tom. You give up everything, but you do that. But for so long, you know what I mean? That's being in a relationship. It's not all peaches and cream.
Wake that up.
Yeah.
Tap in with me, King. Well, how you say your name, beloved? I'm sorry. I'm talking to you. How you say your name?
Oh, you were talking to me? Oh, okay. Quill.
Quell. Greetings and salutations to you, Quell. How you feel about the clip I just played, what Bambi said? Tap in with me.
Okay. Yeah. So, at the end of the day, we got to realize what relationships are and what they aren't. If we always talk about forever and being with somebody, and all this other stuff, is that this stuff takes time. We change over time. I've been married 4 years. I've been with my wife 7 years. I've been with my wife almost a decade. So, I'm not the same person that I was when I first met her. I went through ton of changes. It got ugly at times, and we saw each other through a dark time. So the thing is, it's just like, if you say that you want this person, you have to pick. We got to pick our deal breakers. We got to see if this person is really worth really hanging in there for, and really worth what we think, or are we just looking at them for shallow things that wind up fading away? So we have to really start. Do we want a relationship, or do we want a show? Because I think a lot of people want shows. They want to present a relationship in a certain way. They want an image of a relationship. They don't want the hard work that it goes into it. They don't want the grit that goes into it. They don't want, sometimes I'm not going to like you.
Wake that up.
They're not, sometimes I'm not going to like you sometimes. That don't mean I don't love you, but sometimes I'm not gonna like what you do. Sometimes I'm not gonna like what you say. Sometimes I'm gonna feel a certain type of way. And I think another thing is that like we just have to learn to control our feelings. We have to learn to control our sexual urges.
Mm.
You know, we have to learn because all of that plays a role. Because guess what? Just because you get married to someone or get in a relationship with them doesn't mean you're not going to be attracted to other people.
Say that again.
You know, it just means that you have to overlook. You have to realize that okay, I'm getting something from this person that I can't find somewhere else. I just can't find immediately. So if I walk away, I may be putting myself at a deficit, and I may be walking away. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just thinking that's a great question if you are in a relationship, right? To ask your significant other, what is it that I can give you? What is it that I am providing you with that you aren't able to find anywhere else?
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
I like that you said that. What am I providing you with? Because it's with that, it's with that we recognize and are able to identify the value that they offer, right? We speak about, we have conversations about high value men, high value women, where the value that one holds is really inside of what they can't find anywhere else. You know what I mean?
And the thing, and now I just want to say that a lot of people reference high value, but a lot of times when you look in the Bible, when they reference a high value, a lot of times it wasn't that man's riches. It was the character of people. Like when you look at
Joseph, come on now, wake it up.
When you look at Joseph, Joseph wasn't valued because of rich. He didn't even have anything. He was valued for
his character,
for being an administrator, his character, what he was willing to do. The value that he brought to other people. Mm-hmm. So we had all these other things that we're talking about. It's like people worrying about money, but money does not give you character, and it doesn't give you, because guess what? Character can give you riches. Character, a good name can go further than anything.
That's like your credit, right?
Exactly. So we got to understand what we're talking about here. Like we have to build ourselves up, and especially as men. If we always going to keep talking about leader, we the leader, and the woman has to follow you. But do you offer anything for the woman to follow in the first place?
Hello.
Come on, so come on. We can't ask them to follow you, and they're gonna follow you into a whirlpool,
a place of a mess, right? Yo,
so,
shout out to Quell. He on fire. He just started. We just started. He on fire. I ain't mad at him neither. Tap in with me. D Love Allison, how you feel on Clubhouse? How you feel? Cat got your tongue. Bambi, how you feel, Queen?
I feel like what she said was how a lot of people feel, and I really appreciate Miss Obama's her being completely honest, because she did say she had to do. I liked how she said, I had to do more because I wanted our family to look a certain way. And a lot of people don't admit that that looks do matter, right? As far as how your family is presented to the world, right?
Sure.
And if you want your daughters and your husband, if you want to present your family to be, quote unquote, the best, not the best, but as good as it gets, you got to put in more work, And she knew that she had to put in more, and she didn't want someone else to do it for her, because probably no one can do it as good as she did. Mm-hmm. And I mean, Michelle did a great job. She did a great job with her girls. She did a great job with her husband. I feel like women, I hate to say this, but when you are married, I'm married, it feels like your husband is kind of like another child, not in a way that he's not a child, but you know what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying. He's somebody else you have to be responsible for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
A little bit.
Check this here, right? I feel like, what up though, Rubes? I feel like when what's happening, Sean, I feel as though when we're having these conversations, right? Everything you guys said is right on. And I'm going to play the clip a few more times because it's only about a minute. Shout out to Lovely. Shout out to Sean, Brooklyn. Sean, pull up. I feel like we're having these conversations. And one thing that's to dovetail with the look, right? And how the look is some partners, could be dead in love with you, right? And this is, okay, Woosah Broadway. Some partners can be in love with you and be in a relationship with you and still run outside and fuck up. Let's just lay it all on the table here, right? Some people can be in love with you, run outside, still fuck up. And fuck up isn't always infidelity. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's doing things that you know your significant other won't approve of. And you run outside and you do these things, right? And these things look like all different type of things. And the first thing a person says is what? Oh, you don't love me because if you did, you wouldn't have did X. Hello? I disagree with that. I think it's possible for somebody to love you, be in love with you, and still do some fuck boy or fuck girl shit. Let's just wake it up. Let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation.
I agree.
I think that.
And we shouldn't be trying to.
Hold on, beloved.
Make people change.
I got you. No, you're way good. But I feel like a lot of times people run out and they like to, and this is where what a real man would do, what a real woman would do, and yada 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 yada. But we're not living for the Joneses, right? And even more so over what happens in the points in life when you was a kid and you was wandering out here and maybe not have been a kid and you had that one night stand and you slept with him or her unprotected. Hello? Let's just have an honest conversation. An honest conversation. What about the moments where you done did something for yourself and you fucked up for yourself? You didn't love yourself? No, of course you loved yourself. Of course you did. But it takes time for us to understand who we are as a person. And even if because listen, the truth of the matter is a lot of us been living with ourselves for a very long time and we still drop the ball, but we aren't as hard on ourselves as we are on others. So it's in my belief that we need to stop acting like we're holier than thou. Because just because I don't did some BS doesn't mean, just because we might be going through some things don't mean that you love me any less. So why are we giving up on a relationship? Now, whoa. I know what you guys may be thinking, right? Hey, is Broadway saying, listen, no, twice offender, you got to get you out of there. You can't do the same thing over and over again expecting a different, no, you can't do the same thing over and over again. But what I'm saying is we give up on love too easy when the journey isn't going the way we thought that it would go. We give up on love too easy. You're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right. Let's have a conversation. I see you in the comments, YouTube. Tap in with me. Sean, Allison, Love, I got you guys up here. Floor is yours. What up, Allie?
Hey, yeah, sorry, I just came out the subway. So
You're
excuse my
perfectly fine,
background.
Queen.
Thank you. So I totally agree with what you said. What I will say is that this is a time where we as people need to establish boundaries within ourselves, learn to love ourselves, and figure out exactly what it is that we want and determine in a relationship, because then you can figure out the deal breakers. And if those things that you mentioned are worth ending a relationship over, because if you do that, then you wouldn't have these problems. Everybody, if you come into a relationship knowing that you're going to give 100%, then there's no I'm giving 70 or I'm giving 30.
Right.
Even if it comes to that, there's never going to be a time when everything's going to be 100%, 100%. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be times when it's 50-50, 60-40, 80-20 even. But as long as you have established a foundation, then you can figure it out from there. So it's not a lost cause. You just have to figure it out within yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Tap in, go for it, Sean. It's a pleasure to have you on stage with us, King.
Appreciate you. Yeah, I agree with Allison said, and it's crazy. I came across this link here with Michelle Obama speaking about this, where everybody, give up on the journey so quickly, and it's true, man. A lot of people have, you know, a lot of the modernized women these days, and social media and just the things of how they like to glamorize certain things, it just throw people off, like, and they just don't respect the foundation that's being created. And
Mm,
there's things that people could really work on right in sight, but it's just like they have their mindsets all wrong, like, because they're going elsewhere instead of taking care of what's right in front of them. And then, and certain things is about communication.
mm.
And once you have that communication, man, things will work out, because anything, just like anything could work out. It's just like I mean, how could you get paid if you don't have a job?
Wake it up.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like you got to be able to like put in that work, to make things right. So it's like, yeah, like this comes down to, even like, I like these conversations because it's in face of my reality is like this journey. But I hate to bring my personal, but I'm grown enough to do that and share that. But it's like, it was just like, it wasn't a tough road this year. It's like been the hardest road for me and my partner and then my lady.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
we've been together for a long time, man. At the delicate age of, her being 18 turning 19, and I'm 23 turning 24. And I already kind of was a little bit, had a little bit more season on my fries at the moment, with my
Sure. I got you.
my fault. So it's just like, in the age that she is now, I mean, people grow old to, and as far as behaviors. And I won't say that I was running wild. Like I said, I was just, like, if I could be a little bit more
You was trying
emotionally
to figure
connected to what I.
you was trying to figure yourself out at a young age
Right,
while
right.
doing the right thing.
Right, exactly. But it's not like, it's just like, I was confident in that no one could mislead me to doing anything that I wouldn't want to do, no matter what female. But you know what I mean? But it's just like, she wasn't jacking that. The interactions with certain people, the places, the events that I got, so it's just like I said, like, you know,
You know
um,
what's
let me, yeah,
just real quick,
go
Sean.
ahead, bro.
You know what's funny? My sister on Instagram, she said, nah, but we do give up too easily sometimes. She said, you just gotta see who's worth fighting for, right? And sometimes how I identify who's right fighting for is who's gonna fight for you.
Right.
That's how we identify who's who and what's what. Go for it, Bam.
No, she's right. You have to see who's worth fighting for. And I mean, even if you and someone are married, let's say, or not want to say married, in a relationship with someone, and you both love each other and care for each other, and you both make that promise to each other that we're always going to stand side by side. We're going to fight for each other. We're never going to let anyone come between. And shit hits the fan, and later down the line it doesn't work out. At least you could say that you both were on the same page. And I say that
Sure.
because things do end. Like, I don't want people to feel like who are listening, who gave their very best in a relationship, but realized they just weren't happy with someone.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes those things happen, right? Everyone deserves to be happy. Like, maybe you two weren't meant for each other, but if you two people at least have a friendship, a good bond where you're willing to go to bat for each other no matter what, that's what's important. And even if two people don't work out, then at least you'll always have that bond with them for life. Like, you ever seen those people who are divorced and they still get along? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
After the divorce, and and that's what I think people are missing nowadays, that genuine compassion for another person, that bond for another person, even if the romance isn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, absolutely. Look, what I want to do at this point is I want you guys to go and hit that like button. Hit that like button while I play this video. I want to play this video again so you guys can hear it the way it's intended to be heard entirely. And hit that like button, show your social currency, drop a snap, drop a super chat, and drop a cash app. We here, live on Broadway podcast. Check it out.
If I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30% because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. Yeah. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required. And I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario.
So here's the thing, right? On the back of that, I wasn't finished saying what I was saying earlier. Sometimes your partner could be dead in love with you and give and do something wrong, but they still in love with you. You get what I'm saying? The reason why that is because they were stupid at times. You get me? The reason why that is because they perhaps didn't see you, right? The reason why that is because they were so busy listening to loving hip hop and Instagram. The fuck? This ain't Scrappy and Bambi. No pun intended, Bambi. This ain't G Herbo and Ari. This isn't Jada and Lil Baby, right? This is us. This is us. And sometimes we be so close to the trees, we don't see the forest. We be looking at the TVs and the Instagrams and looking at all the wrong things for the right answers and not paying attention to the person that's directly in front of us. So you end up becoming single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right. Because they wasn't doing what Lil Baby and G Herbo and Ari, she wasn't doing for you what Ari did for G Herbo or whomever, right? So you give up on it because it didn't look like you wanted it to look. But I can't tell you how many times I don't step 2 feet inside restaurants that didn't look like, I'm going here because I'm trying to support my partner. I don't really want to be here. But then I get there and I taste the food and woo, that thing be slapping. So sometimes how we envision it, it doesn't always be how we envision it because we're welcoming somebody new into our life. I'm saying all this to say that we got to stop giving up on love because we got to stop giving up on the journey because the love didn't go right. Tap in with me, AK. I got AK up here. It's a pleasure to have you on the stage with us, beloved.
My brother. I caught a little bit of it and what you were talking about. And you're talking about love, the journey of love. I don't know. I don't know if I see love differently.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to expound upon that.
All right, but right before you do, let me give you a brief reset. Michelle Obama, she has a new book that's coming out, right? And inside of promoting that book, she went on NPR and she pretty much loosely said that, it's my words, but I interpreted it by way of her. She said, you're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right. So it's like to say, you my man, but you only this my woman, but at the first sign of trouble, I'm going to toss her to the side because we can't figure out if we want the toilet seat to be left up or down. People are giving up on love too easily. So tap in with me. How you feel?
Oh, no. That one I 100% agree with. And I like that. I mean, you're single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so I definitely agree with that. I think the issue is with a lot of folks, especially with a lot of our sisters, is that they're in love with that feeling of being in love.
Talk about it.
That
Absolutely.
yeah, that sense of infatuation, right? And so to me, I think that love is more powerful than being in love, because being in love is fleeting. It can come and it can go. But I think a lot of people, well, there are a lot of folks who decide to leave
Wake that
when
up.
that feeling of being in love is gone.
Mm-hmm,
If that makes sense.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, shit, I'm rolling up my sleeve because I want to hear more. I mean, God damn it, you on fire, beloved. So they're in love with the feeling, but not the action, is what you're saying.
Right. Right. It's like they're chasing a crack high. You know what I mean? Like sometimes like happiness is like emotional crack for some of our sisters, man. They just, you know, they're constantly chasing that high. So they like the way that you made them feel. And once they're not feeling that way, they're going to keep chasing, keep looking for the next person to give them that high from happiness and being in love, if that makes sense.
Wow.
That makes sense. Some women do that, yeah.
Yeah, wow. Not all women, of course.
Not all, but usually, that's not really a healthy way to live, because, it's kind of a selfish way to live too. Like, they say drug addicts are selfish because they're just, trying. But it's also a disease. So, I mean.
Wow. I'm very interested to hear what Allison and Clubhouse has to say. Love, do you have anything to add into this conversation we having?
Yes, I do. Hello, everyone.
Greetings, Queen.
Thank you. I just want to say about giving up on love at a young age. Sometimes it can be lust. Some people don't know between lust and love. Another thing I want to add is that when two people is in a relationship, we have outsiders that whisper in your ear, okay? And they can be hating on your relationship. And then as soon as you step away from your relationship, they slipping in. So we have to be careful.
Wake that up.
Confide in.
Say that then.
We have to be careful who we confide in. Instead of going outside the box and talking to your friends, your family, okay? Ain't nobody being murdered or nothing like that. Sit down and speak to one another. Because if you don't and you go outside the box, then you doomed. That's just what it is. It has to be
true.
Pardon me for cutting your wisdom, love, right? So here's my remedy for this, and I give you the floor back on real quick, right? I just want to say this. My remedy is you need a mediator when you're in a relationship at some point in time. You're going to need that, right? Because she's going to be fixated on what she's saying and having her feelings conveyed and communicated to you. Sometimes you're going to be so caught in your box as a man, you're not going to see it, and vice versa. So with that, add that one, divide that two, I offer therapy. Therapy is very important for any relationship, in my humble opinion, because it's not about being broken. It's about having someone that can hear you guys unbiasedly and can actually let you guys hear what one another is saying. Or sometimes when you're in your feelings, you say things and you don't always say exactly how you feel because you're in the midst of being angered, you're in the midst of being loud, you're in the midst of trying to get what you want on that's in your head, out your mouth, and it don't always communicate well. The best thing in life, they say laughter is the closest distance between two people. They say laughter is the closest distance between two people. So what's the furthest distance between two people? Disagreements. Disagreements is the furthest distance. So you and your significant other are at the furthest of distance that you guys could be when you guys are disagreeing. So instead of disagreeing, I pose the one of the best things to have in life, not just with your significant other, but with anyone, is an understanding. With an understanding, we're able to actually, I probably don't respect, with an understanding, that presents us with the ability of being able to say, you know what? I don't have to agree with you, but I understand what you're saying and where you're coming from. It logically, it makes sense. But I yield my mic to you guys. Tap in with us. We got King. We got Love. We got Allison. We have Quell. We have Bambi. We have AK. Tap in with me, guys. We got the YouTube viewership. Tap in. I see you guys. Hit that like button. Show your social currency. Appreciate you all in advance. Go for it, guys.
Yeah, so I was just gonna say that we have the thing is like we get what we tolerate in life. People are gonna treat us the way that we allow them to treat us.
Sure.
Happiness is fleeting. That relationships isn't about happiness. Because the thing is, I could be happy today, I could be angry tomorrow. The next moment I might change my mind about that. So the thing is, we have to do what's going to be best for the relationship, and we got to start communicating what we want from someone. Like, so in the beginning, before we get in with anybody, we got to start letting them know what we want and what we're willing to tolerate. And if not, then you go east, I go west. Let's go find someone where it can work with, so let's eliminate some of this stuff. Let's stop fighting each other all the time. Let's find the people that it works with. And then when we get there, let's not be so willing to walk away from someone just because they say something that we don't like. Because we could be walking away from the best thing that ever happened to us, and we may not ever find the type of love that we got with that person ever again.
And also, relationships, a lot in our society nowadays, it's not okay to be vulnerable. And in order to have a successful relationship, you have to be vulnerable with another person. And I think that that's something that as Americans we struggle with, because we look at vulnerability as a weakness. But you're never more naked than when you give your heart to someone else.
Yes, I agree with that.
And that's not to be taken lightly, And I think people need to know that when they date, that you are taking on someone's heart, if it gets serious. You get what I'm saying? And that's why, my cousins growing up, they're like, if you don't really like the boy, don't waste his time. Don't play with someone's heart. Don't break his heart. Don't do that. My older cousins told me that, because I don't want to be responsible for that. If you don't like him, leave him alone.
The funny thing with that, Bambi, is right. The way I look at it is I'm in my relationship, right? I'm responsible for my lady. I'm responsible for her. Everything. You name it, I'm responsible for her. This is how we look at things. And much is true on the other side to it. Everything with me, she's responsible for. Right? So when you move as a unit and you see yourselves as being responsible for one another, how do you get well, you can, but you will cut your nose off to spite your face by doing something that your significant other wouldn't agree with. You get what I'm saying? So responsibility is very important. Sometimes we don't view ourselves or our significant others as the person to be responsible for. You get me? Tap in with me. How you guys feel? I'm very interested to learn how you guys are feeling. Some people say,
Here's the thing with that, Broadway. If it hurts you to see your partner hurt, then you shouldn't do it.
Very true. If it hurts you, you shouldn't. Say it again, because it's hard to hear you. Say it again.
Sorry. If your partner being hurts you, then that means that you shouldn't do it.
Of course.
That's a telltale sign. And that's a part of being responsible for each other. It's not, it's not a child. It's your partner, and that's what partnership is. So you guys are responsible and accountable to each other, and you have to take care of each other in a way that you take care of yourself. And if you don't do that, then the responsibility falls on you, and that's basically negligence, right? You have to take care of yourself like how you take care of your partner, and vice versa, or else it's not gonna work.
Coming off of that, and yes, yes, take care of yourself as you take care of your partner. Absolutely, right. Coming off of that though, right? I want to talk about something. I want to talk about, everyone say, I don't want struggle love. Everyone says that. I hear that all the time. I don't want struggle love. I'm too old for struggle love. Well, what the fuck do you think love is? You've been living with yourself for your entire existence, right? We've been living with ourselves 20, 30, 40, 50 years. When you meet someone, you guys are trying to acclimate yourselves to each other's lives. You guys are trying to figure it out together, right? I'm saying that to make the point that love is a struggle. I'm not saying that it has to be Franks and beans. I'm not saying it got to be pork rinds. I'm not saying, you get me? I'm saying that love is a struggle. It's a struggle because your life itself is a struggle to a great extent. My life is a struggle in trying to balance this and be here for that and go over here and still make it over there for that and do this and yada, yada, yada. It's a struggle, trying to figure it out. But the interesting part to it is we'll spend our whole life trying to figure it out, loving on people past the point of their fuck ups, but never give up on. I'm sorry, I'm getting lost in between my notes and what I'm saying. A lot of times we give up on the people that we're with, but we don't give up on ourselves. And so a great portion of that, and ourselves, we struggle with finding the right time to have kids, when prioritizing career, when figuring out how to be for the kids, for your significant other. When you in a relationship, kids allow the relationship to change a lot. So it's all a struggle. So when you talk about struggle love, my bottom line point is, stop trying to. I honestly think that we say things and we aren't really aware of really aware of what we're saying versus the saying and what the saying means. I think it's just cute to say a lot of times. I yield my mic. Tap in with me, Allison.
That's the difference. And it's funny that you call my name, because there's a difference between Barack Obama and Michelle, right?
They struggle.
And they struggle, but guess where he is? You understand what I'm saying? The struggle is not him cheating on her repeatedly and her going back and knowing that she should not be in this toxic environment and relationship.
But we don't know
The
that.
struggle, listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. I'm not in their bedroom, but this is what I'm saying. Is not that's not their struggle. You understand me? Whether I know it or not, that's not what is perceived. However, in the case of, and I will always refer back to them because they are just ridiculous, Blueface and Krishan, this is a relationship that should never ever happen. And it ping pongs back and forth. It's just bad business. And they know they shouldn't be together. But that is the definition of a soul tie and a toxic relationship. That is their struggle. And they know that they should not be doing it, but they still doing it because they just can't, for whatever reason, let go of each other, right?
Well,
but
I'm listening to you, Queen.
but the struggle that Michelle Obama and her husband had, right? At the very least of their struggle that we know about publicly is that they probably didn't have any place to live that they liked all the time. Probably living in a studio apartment for a long time. You understand me? They didn't know where the next meal was coming from. They didn't know where they were going to see each other because they were so busy working and studying. So that, to me, was their type of struggle. We gotta differentiate, know exactly what's what.
I think, and I said this earlier, You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? That's just stupidity, right? That's just what we identify as insanity, right? What up, King? Ashley, I see you. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? So with the Krishan and the blue face, that's insanity. Michelle Obama, sometimes, listen, man, I shared this story times before, right? Where I was young, I was getting on a bus and the bus driver, the lady was like starting flirting with me, and I was like, okay, thank you, trying to keep it cute and keep it moving to get to the back of the bus, but it was so crowded. So she said, when it was time for me to get off the bus, she said, don't block your blessings. You never know what your wife looked like. And it was funny because I never forgot that. I just never forgot that. You never know what your wife look like. Shout out to Trey. I appreciate the badges. Wake it up, wake it up, wake it up. We never know what our significant other will look like, even if we have an idea of what he or she looks like in our heads, right? So my point is love is a struggle. Michelle Obama and Blueface and the Krishan girl, it looks different. What Michelle Obama had to do and be for Barack Obama for their relationship, being the person that she was and setting her career aside to focus on him being a 30 and pouring into him so he could be the 70 to 80. And at times he was the same for her. Sometimes that's the struggle. The struggle looks like different things, but as long as the outcome is income, okay? As long as the outcome is income, we got to get away from I don't want struggle love, because struggle love looks like different things to different people. I could say right now that I've been in relationships where she might not have thought that it was a struggle, but on my side, I was looking at her like it was a struggle. She probably was looking at me like I was a struggle at times, but I was probably looking at her like everything was all good. So we got to get out of the space of I don't want struggle love, because you know what's true? The things we say we don't want, the things you say you'll never do, the things you say, girl, I wouldn't tolerate, be the first things that knocking at your fucking door.
Talk about it.
It'd be the first thing. You get what I'm saying? So I just want you guys to know and realize that the answer to, and I don't know who I'm speaking to, what viewer or listener I'm speaking to, but you're probably single because you gave up on the journey when love didn't go right for you. You gave up. Love don't look like Blueface. Love don't look like Jada, Baby, G Herbo, Ari. Love looks like you. That's what love looks like. Love look like my guy AK down here. I got you, beloved. Love look, well, you can't see Quell and Bambi, but you guys get the bottom line of what I'm saying here. You guys get it. Love looks like you. In your situation, in your place, and where you are in your life, love looks like you. You can't come into a situation. You working in McDonald's, sis. You work at the fix-it tire shop, bruh. Love is going to look different to you than what it might look like to Russell Williams and Sierra. Tap in with me, AK.
Something? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say, as far as like the struggle love thing that we often hear. To me, I associate struggle love when I listen to a lot of sisters talk about they don't want any struggle love. I associate that to they feel like a man is lacking financially. Now, I have a friend of mine. She makes over six figures, mm-hmm. But she refuses. She wouldn't marry a guy who makes $80,000. And to her, that's struggle love. But like to most men, like most brothers that I talk to, they're looking at it like, okay, if she makes $100,000 and he makes $80,000, then together they have $180,000 household.
Mm.
In 5 years, they could save enough where only one person has to work. That's the way most brothers are looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she looked at it was like, no, he has to make equal or more than me, because for whatever reason, if I go down, he needs to be able to maintain the lifestyle that I created for myself. And so to her, that was the definition of struggle love. And you know, I talk about this quite a bit. A lot of women tend to be hypergamous. They want to date a man who has more money than them,
Mm-hmm.
or more education than them, and it's kind of confusing or counterintuitive, because so many women are doing well. I mean, you have, you know, especially when you're talking about Black women, they have more of them have bachelor's degrees, more have master's degrees, and in some cases, more even earn more money. So they're doing well, and if it's about a man truly loving you, then why does it matter what his financial situation is, especially when his financial situation is not that far off from your own? You know what I mean? But yeah, I think the struggle love conversation has a lot to do with money when I hear sisters talking about it.
To be honest, when you talk about women.
No, I'm gonna give it to you right now, Bambi. I just want to wake up something that King said in the comments, because I'm looking at it. She said, "It doesn't matter what he makes; it matters what he's spending. Men can make more than you and don't share." I just wanted to bring that to life. Go for it, Bambi.
Well, to comment what he said, I kind of forgot what I was going to say. Women who say that, like, oh, they make money and they want a guy that doesn't make less than them. You know, to me, as a female, that's a way of woman putting a man down. Okay, because any woman who comes, who knows hard work to get a degree or that, you know, it don't come easy, and you know, not everyone was handed the same cards in life that you were. So I feel like those women who say those things, they're not good women necessarily. Yet it's good to have standards. You can have standards, but for you to tell a man, oh, because you don't make over 65K, I'm not going to date you now, and to say it out loud and be proud about it, yeah, you're trying to put someone down, because again, you know, money don't come easy, and I just feel like women who do that, they really enjoy putting a man down, because they just do, and it's not a good thing. Because any good woman is going to be encouraging and know that everyone's not at the same race. Like, everyone has a different pace.
Well, on the back of that, Bambi, right? And I totally concur. On the back of that, I mean, it's probably why they single, right? Like, a lot of times the answers being the question, right? Meaning, oh, you single? And then I learned that you want to date a dude with 80,000, that you won't date a dude with 80,000 because you make XYZ. What does him and what he makes got to do for you? Because he might be best qualified to be able to protect and provide for you. And providing for you isn't always monetary. So let's just wake that up.
Exactly.
A lot of times providing, ladies, right? Because as a man, we're to protect and provide. A lot of times providing for you guys isn't always monetary. A lot of times it's being able to provide you with a sound and peaceful environment so you can get to it. And vice versa for ladies to men, right? A lot of times providing and security, it can look different. It doesn't always have to be the same. I want to step into final thoughts. In our final thoughts segment, I like to play the video or whatever we're lending commentary to one more time and give you guys a chance to lend your final thoughts, right? Sometimes we start the podcast off with thinking this and saying that, and then by way of the other giants that's lending their commentary to the platform, they may say something and allow us to see and hear something different and change our point of views at the end of the conversation. So we're here now in final thoughts, and I want to play this clip one more time so you guys can get a chance to actually respond to it entirely. Live on Broadway podcast. Check it out.
If I look over my marriage, if I were to judge it in year 5 or year 10, there was never 50-50. Somebody was always giving way more. Someone always needed a different kind of thing. You have to evolve with it. And so, yeah, there were times when I felt like I was 70% in and he was doing 30% because of the choices that I made in the terms of how I wanted our family to look. Yeah. I had to take my foot off of my career gas pedal, never putting on the brake, but slowing up a little bit. Those are the natural compromises that are required. And I feel bad when I see young people giving up on their relationships because there are periods of hard. So I think it's important for us to be honest in those conversations, not to glamorize what a partnership feels like, because then young people quit too soon. They quit before they've really, played out the full scenario.
Wow. Live on Broadway podcast. Tap in with us. Final thoughts. I'm going to go to Clubhouse first. I'm going to come to you next. Instagram, YouTube. I want to see it in the comments. Hit that like button. Allison, one time for the one time. Final thoughts, Queen.
Wow. So I said it before and I'll say it again. We have to love ourselves first before we can love anybody else. And you give yourself 100%, you can give it to the next person too. So that's my final thought.
Wow. Well said. Love. One time, love. Final thoughts, Queen.
I just say, just keep God first. Keep God first ahead of the relationship. Don't give up so quickly, because you never know in the long run what you done lost.
One time. I appreciate you, Queen. I appreciate you. Instagram, tap in. One time. Let's start from the top. Quell, it's on you.
I just would say, man, that just remember that relationships are a marathon. They don't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes effort. You're building something with someone, and that doesn't happen immediately. Long as they're showing measurable progress, then I think that's what really matters. As long as they're showing that they're growing and they're trying and they're striving and they're trying to give you everything that they got, and they're trying to build with you, then I think that's what matters. And we gotta stop trying to look to other people to determine what our relationship should look like.
Wow. Bambi, it's on you, Queen.
I feel like we need to, take a page out of the Obama's book. Again, another page, and, apply what they've taught us all. Something to strive for.
Taking one out of that. AK, it's on you, beloved.
Yeah, I agree with the first two callers. I think that we need to embrace delayed gratification. I think too often many folks believe in instant gratification. They want it and they want it now. If Michelle Obama had embraced the philosophy of instant gratification, she would have never stuck it out with Barack Obama. I remember she was talking about he had a car where you could see the box, you could see the street from the floor. He had holes in the car, and she stuck it out, and they're super wealthy today. They have a great lifestyle. So sometimes you have to be patient and stick it out.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to be patient and stick it out.
All the time, pretty much.
Tracy, Trey 11208, she said, the beauty of her delivery is she's taking accountability for her decisions. I love that. And I love that. Final thoughts on Broadway. I believe that love starts with accountability. I believe that at the root of all of our decision making, if we're really gonna hold ourselves accountable, we're really gonna love someone, we can't do that without holding them or ourselves accountable. I believe that in order to have a successful relationship, we have to step away from our pride and our ego. And that's a hard thing to do because this is the person that we are spending our life with. And this is a person outside of us. So if this is the person that we're spending our life with, then shouldn't we feel like we can lay emotionally naked and vulnerable and be vulnerable with them and trust that they aren't gonna hurt us? That's a hard one. It's a hard one for me. So it's shit, goddamn it. Ain't nobody exempt. You get me? But it's not impossible. I believe that a lot of our answers to our questions are within us. And when we, each and every last time, and even me, right? I'm not single, but I think back to the time that I was single, right? It's because, and I walked away a lot. It's been because I gave up on the journey when love didn't go right. I walked away. Or I've had someone walk away, right? But we can't say we know what love is if we never we can't say we know what love is if we never experienced it to its fullest potential, to its fullest extent, excuse me. Right? A lot of us put one foot in, one foot out. A lot of us don't ever make it out the dating stage because we're so, he does this, she does that. Ooh, I don't like that. I'm out of here. Maybe that's what you need. Maybe you need somebody to do that, to get you right. I always say I don't want 5 guards on my team because who's going to catch the rebound? Who's going to shoot the ball? Who's gonna put us in position? You get what I'm saying? So, all 5 centers. I need a point guard, a shooting guard, a forward, a center. I need everybody to play their position. I need my significant other to be different from me, but I need us to have commonality with one another. Live on Broadway podcast. Hopefully, inside of this conversation provided by way of myself and the giants alike, YouTube, Instagram, Clubhouse, Facebook, you guys were able to learn something, and maybe if you're single, maybe we're speaking to you. You know what I mean? Feel free to always drop a comment in my DM. IM_Broadway. Maybe we could talk about your situation next. You get me? I'll never tell though. I never let nobody know we speaking about you. Live on Broadway podcast. Y'all know my vibe. Y'all know my body. It's cheaper to be yourself. Be giant. Pull.
Have a great night.
Do you have relationship questions you need answered? Or spicy topics? DM us at Live on Broadway Podcast. Have music, products, or an ad you want us to run? Email us at Live on Broadway Podcast. Be sure to tap in. Mondays, 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live on IM_Broadway's Instagram. Clear.